Oh, we have breaking news as we are talking. Speaking of the Buffalo Bills needing wide receiver help, yeah, Amari Cooper has been traded to the Buffalo Bills. Just got this alert right now on my phone. So for those who are watching live, we are reacting to this in real time. Buffalo will be sending a third round pick to Cleveland as part of a pick swap, according to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero. So that is, I think, honestly, I think that is a bigger shift than Devonte Adams going to the Vegas Raiders. Like this is, I think, a big move. And for Amari Cooper, it gets him out of the situation that we were talking about getting him out of for a really, really long time. He is still, I think, a very high level wide receiver. And I think that now, from a fantasy standpoint, sky is the limit for this kid. I think the world of Amari Cooper's talents. Again, Raider fan here. So this has been a this has been a time, hey. But from we'll talk fantasy in a second. I'm just kind of like bouncing all this around. Let's talk first about what this means for the Buffalo Bills. That was a lot of Curtis Samuel last night against the New York Jets in big situations. Now you have a guy who is legitimately a, again, high level wide receiver that can really help this offense out. I think that we saw over the first 5-6 weeks of the season with the Buffalo Bills that this was an offense that could put up points when Josh Allen has the Superman cape on. But there are limitations to that. And now I think you take a lot of those limitations away. And if Shakir comes back, all of a sudden he's a number two, Keon Coleman's your number three, and Curtis Samuel is your number four. You feel really, really good about that offense. And so I think that this really does do a lot of positives for the Buffalo Bills offense and makes them a real contender again in the AFC. And like I said, I think this will have more of an impact on the Buffalo Bills than Devonte Adams will have on the New York Jets. Sorry, I think that Devonte Adams goes in and just it gives you another guy who can make plays with which the Jets needed, but it is still a number two wide receiver. This is a high level playmaker who is still playing at a high level or still can play at a high level anyway, going to the Buffalo Bills, who that was their main area of need. The Jets had a couple of other ones that this was kind of it. Defensively, the Bills still need a bit of work, but this is a big move, I think, to acquire an Amari Cooper to the Buffalo Bills. So again, gigantic move. And again, from a fantasy standpoint, if you were holding on to Amari Cooper, by golly gee, what a gigantic win this is for you, because this was a lost season for him out in Cleveland and just an unmitigated disaster, and he was not going to be used properly. Now he could potentially, like if he had started the year on Buffalo, I wonder how high he would have been drafted. This makes him I think, extremely valuable fantasy football commodity. And you weren't going to be sitting Josh Allen anyway, but I do think that this bumps up Josh Allen a little bit more as a fantasy football starter. And I don't think it hinders anyone else in this offense. Like Curtis Samuel, probably, if you were owning him anyway, odds are the season wasn't going awesome for you. So, but I do think that there is something there now with an Amari Cooper that, like Khalil Shakir, is going to get a little bit less of the attention. And same with Keon Coleman. And so I think those guys will kind of continue in the roles that they have. So great news, I think, for Buffalo. For the Cleveland Browns, this is so clearly waving the white flag. And honestly, getting a third round pick in a pick swap, like it's not going to be a game changer anyway. It frees up a little bit of cap space, but what are they going to use cap space for when you are paying Deshaun Watson the amount of money that you are paying him? So it at least gets you a lottery ticket and opens up a spot for maybe someone else to shine. Jerry Jeudy, I think, is going to get all the attention now coming out of this move, and I think that while it feels like maybe he gets a little bit more of the opportunity, I think he gets a lot more of the attention. And so I think this is kind of a net negative for him. And also, it just makes this offense worse. And so I think it's a net negative for kind of everyone on the Cleveland Browns side of things for fantasy football. So, a lot going down in the NFL today. Some big moves in the National Football League.